Another interesting practice we see is breaking bread. From the beginning of Acts to the end of Acts, we see this referenced, starting in Acts 2:42. And they continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship, and in breaking of bread, and in prayers. This was the early church right after the coming of the Holy Ghost. One of the things that's listed is they continued in the breaking of bread. It was significant enough that it was mentioned. Now let's go to 20:7 through 12. And upon the first day of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread, Paul preached unto them, ready to depart on the morrow, and continued his speech until midnight. And there were many lights in the upper chamber where they were gathered together. And there sat in the window a certain young man named Eutychus, being fallen in a deep sleep. And as Paul was long preaching, he sunk down with sleep, and fell down from the third loft, and was taken up dead. And Paul went down and fell on him, and embracing him said, Trouble not yourselves, for his life is in him. And when he therefore was come up again, and had broken bread, and eaten, and taken a long while, even till break of day, so he departed. And they brought the young man alive, and were not a little comforted. So we see it was the first day of the week, and it says, when the disciples came together to break bread. This was something they did often. I don't know if they did it once a week or if they did it daily. They'd come together to break bread, and Paul was getting ready to leave, and so he was preaching long into the night. And we see at the end that that they had then broken bread and talked a long while. So we see them coming together, welcoming Paul. They are listening to him teach, and they have a meal together. And then it says they talked a long while. We see them in fellowship. We see them in community. And then in Acts 27:35, it says, And when he had thus spoken, he took bread and gave thanks to God in the presence of them all. And when he had broken it, he began to eat. So here we see them breaking bread, but they're giving thanks to God as they do it. Now, on the Bible Hub, it says the term breaking bread in the Bible refers to the act of sharing a meal, which often includes the breaking of bread as a central element. It says this practice holds significant spiritual and communal meaning within the Christian tradition. It is both a literal act of eating and a symbolic gesture of fellowship and unity among the believers. The phrase is frequently associated with the Lord's Supper or communion, a sacrament instituted by Jesus during the Last Supper. Now, from what we can tell, most of the references in Acts are actually talking about them sitting down and taking a meal together. But there are some other verses about breaking bread in the Bible that seem to talk about communion.